Hello, welcome to my channel, welcome to my garage. This is Rick's Garage, and this is my third video on doing the Ducati motorcycle. And I'm trying to build this using the example from another YouTube channel called Plasmo, and I'm trying to see how close I can come to what you see on his video. And I have just now completed step number 2, which is the exhaust system. Bring over a piece of paper so you can see this a little bit better, and let's zoom in. There we go. And I think I did a pretty good job on assembling of this exhaust system here in terms of the weathering and the heat treatment. I thought that went on extremely well. I'm very pleased with that. This is really my second attempt on doing something like this with the airbrush. The first time I did this was on the Dodge Charger from the Fast and Furious. And I went a little light on the heat treatment, but I thought still it came out really, really well. The way that I did it, following the examples that you see on the Plasmo channel, did the black coat, and then I did the top coat of the super metallic from Mr. Color. And then for the heat treatments, the red, yellow, and blue clear colors, the clear red, clear yellow, and clear blue from Tamiya, I completed the heat treatment, and you can see that I think anyway that came out just fine. I don't know how well you can see that on the camera, but I thought it just came out great for someone that's only done this twice. The one thing that I did find that was extremely difficult was the springs. Now you can see that the springs are on there. I don't know if you can really see that or not, but the springs are on. And I would say it took me probably about, an hour per spring. If you go on to the Plasmo channel and you get to the point where he's attaching the spring to the brackets, he makes it look so simple. He just puts that spring on there in a matter of seconds. But again, he is a Rembrandt, he's a professional. The guy is a fantastic modeler, and his years of experience has really paid off. You can see that in his videos. So there's no wonder and no surprise that on his videos everything looks extremely simple. But it's not. It takes a lot of practice to get to that point. So for someone like myself, I thought that I would do it just slightly different next time. I'm going to zoom in a little bit further here so you can see this better. There we go. All right, so what I thought I would do next time is that I would take the brackets and I would bend them into the angle that they need to be bent. Then I would take those brackets and I would put them on double-sided tape onto a board of some sort. Then I would glue and attach, or attach and glue, the springs to those brackets, and I would make a solid unit. And then I would take that solid unit and then put it onto the exhaust. So the last thing that I would do after the painting and the heat treatment and all that, the last thing that I would put onto the exhaust would be these springs. For me, that would be the most easiest way to do it. So I am very tempted to do this model again, or maybe do another motorcycle that has a dial-up kit that includes springs for the exhaust, and try that method. I'd love to find out whether or not that would actually work. And then, of course, I would also take the experience that I did on assembling this and see whether or not I can do a better job. But that's what I learned on that. The other thing that I found, too, that was curious, and I don't understand why, and maybe somebody out there knows the answer to this, and if you do, please let me know in the comments section below, are these ties, these metal ties that go around the pipes of the exhaust. They're not long enough to meet end to end, which would then make sense on these bolts that would go into the top end and through the hole at the bottom end to secure them. And these did not meet end to end. There was quite a distance between each end when you wrapped it around the pipe. So I don't understand why that happened. Don't understand why the strips are not long enough. But the way I ended up attaching those strips was to make sure that the ends were behind the exhaust. So I put those strips on the end. You probably can't see those strips on there in between the springs, but they are on. They're there. They were very simple to put on, not a problem whatsoever, but they just didn't meet end to end in order to get that bolt to go through. Okay, so now to complete step number 2, what we need to do is to attach these pieces onto the engine, and painting these pieces was pretty simple to do. Let me see if I can put these on a white piece of paper. Maybe you can see that a little bit better if they're on white background. This was very simple to do. This is just Mr. Color Super Metallic here in the center. And then, get a better light on this. And then on the ends is a combination of gunmetal and super metallic from Mr. Color in a 1-to-1 ratio. And hopefully you can see the color difference between the two on camera, but that came out really well. And then in the center hole here, this little oval hole, is Tamiya Semi-Gloss X-18, and I just used a toothpick to get that in there. Now you'll also notice too in the instructions for step number 2 is that there isn't a, zoom out just a little bit more here, there isn't a no paint symbol. There's a no paint symbol here on step number 3, but there is no paint symbol on step number 2. So they're expecting you to glue in the exhaust onto the engine, and then also too these pieces right here, they get screwed into the engine, and that also will help secure the exhaust system in and of itself. But I noticed that when I dry fit, see if I can't do this on camera here. It's a little fiddly, but I think I can get this on camera. There we go. And then back here, you pull this out just a little bit, and it snaps right into place. And because of that tension of the exhaust itself, that's on there. I mean, it's not going anywhere. It's not going to fall off or anything. It is a little movable here. It's a little wiggly. But once these pieces are on, and there's a lug underneath here, that lug goes into the indent here on the exhaust, and then once this is actually screwed in and attached like that, it's going to secure the exhaust more firmly to the engine. So I'm not going to glue the exhaust and anything on this piece right here. I'm just going to let everything be secured by its own weight and by the screwing in these two pieces into the engine, and then securing the exhaust system to the engine. So let me go ahead and get that done. Let me install these two pieces off camera as it's outlined here in the instructions using the screws that come with the kit. Get all that attached, and then come back, show you what the end result is. And then after that, you can let me know how I did in the comment section below. So I'll be right back with the assembled piece. Okay, here it is all put together. The exhaust on the engine, I just, again, just attached it as a dry fit, and it's holding on to the engine by its own weight. And then I screwed in the bottom parts there that you see of the chrome silver, or the metallic silver there at the very bottom, and screwed those in, but with some very, very tiny screws into the engine. You can see the screw right there on the upper right. And I thought I'd put this on the turntable here so you can get a revolving 360 view of the engine as it is right now. And I would say that up to stage 2, really assembling the engine part is pretty simple. It's pretty straightforward. The only real 2 difficulties I had already explained in my first video of step 1, was the heat sink there. I couldn't get those plates to line up to a perfect square. And then of course what I talked about earlier in this video on the springs. But other than that, everything went in just fine. So that's the engine. Let me know what you think in the comment sections below. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. If you haven't already subscribed, please remember to subscribe. And as always, have a great day and have fun in your workshop. Take care. See you next time.